Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Basic Education Board.
Dear learners, how are you? Lord, let me hope you are doing well. I'm Anton, your economics teacher. Today, we are going to look at a new lesson, but under Unit 14, and that is the theory of cost. That's our unit. Then our lesson will be lesson 6, the external economies. That's what we are going to look at, the external economies. Then our learning objective, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the external economies. That's what we are going to look at, the external economies. Let's participate and we achieve our target. Good. But before I proceed with a new lesson, could you remind me what we looked at in our previous work? Right. We looked at internal economies of scale. But before, we said, who can remind me, we talked of economies of scale. What's the meaning of economies of scale? Right, we said that those are advantages or benefits that a firm gets out of expanding. It may be a firm or any industry. So those are advantages. Then we categorize them into two. We talked of internal economies. Then the other one, external economies. Then we looked at internal economies. What are some of the economies that we give? Briefly. Right. We talked of technical economies, that when a firm expands, there are those technical economies because it is able to hire people who can use machine. Or those who are within, as they specialize, they become experts. Then, good, we talked of managerial skills. The managers we get, the engineers, the accountants, right? What else? Good, we talked of financial economies, right? Another thing, research and development. Good, the other thing, social and welfare, the welfare of workers, how they socialize as they at work or outside, that make them have efficient work. Then you talked of marketing economies, right? And many others that we gave. So that was just a reminder to make ourselves remember what we looked at. Now, our lesson today, we are going to look at external economies of scale. Get a pen and a book or your laptop and note down what we are going to look at. So first of all, you can tell me, what are external economies? What are external economies? Good. These are advantages or benefits enjoyed by a firm as a result of expansion or growth. When a firm expands or grows of the industry. So now, dear learners, I want you to note two things. We have a firm and we have an industry. So as we talked of industry, that's sometimes it is a collection of firms. That's an industry, collection of firm. but when they are doing the same thing. Let's take an example. In Rwanda, we may have people who are making films, Rwandan films. There are many farms, there are many people. They still made, there are others, I don't know, there is here of Seuri Koko, then we have also Ndoto, and others. So those are different farms. So when they come together, they make an industry. And people say, hey, film industry in Rwanda, it is coming up. So that is something is becoming big. But for internal economies, it is one farm. It is one farm expanding. So we looked at those advantages as it expands. Now, external, now it is a farm. It is an industry. Sorry, it is an industry. All those farms, they are making one industry. Now we're going to see what are those advantages that we get. Right, but before, you can note here on my slide, external economies. These are advantages or benefits enjoyed by a farm as a result of the expansion or growth of the industry. So here we are seeing something big. The external economies of scale are shared with other farms operating within an industry. So it is an industry, the advantages these farms get when they are together. Right. Now, let's see those advantages. Let's look at the advantages. External economies. External economies. So let me hope you are also noting. One, we have labor economies. So how is it a benefit? How is this a benefit? How is it an advantage? Right. So you find that many people are attracted to a certain industry because when they are attracted, they are able, okay, in most cases, some even love to work in that industry. So people may say, as I've said, that film industry in Rwanda, it is doing well. Many join, many love to work there. Let's talk of construction industry. When it is working very well, people are able to go there and be employed. Mining industry, if it is also doing well, men join. We have agriculture industry in Rwanda. So labor is attracted to go to that industry that has expanded, that has made a name. Right. So you can note down, you can look here and note down that when an industry expands, labor, so look on the slide, labor with various skills is attracted to that particular area, creating more access to such labor by the farm at low cost. So here what you will see that labor with various skills is attracted people go in that particular area. In Rwanda, we have here a localized area in Masoro. So you find that all people, labor goes to that area, Masoro, that economic free zone. Why? Because it is the industry expanded. So at the end, the advantage, people are able to get labor at a low cost. These are advantages to that industry. Everyone goes there. Let me hope that point is at home. 2, we have transport economies. Transport economies. You get the point, transporting economies. So you may look here and see, when the industry expands, industrial firms may benefit from the infrastructure networks set up by other firms or by the state. So you can look here and see that when a state or a government localize industry, it may locate an industry in a certain area. Then that industry, when they locate a certain industry, what they do, they construct roads in that area. So you are seeing that transport is becoming easy. They are able to make roads. Of which roads? Roads that will help to transport raw materials and finished products. So here, there is that benefit. Sometimes there are also entrepreneurs who construct roads. They don't wait for the government. They construct roads. And people benefit. The farm benefits. Then the industry also benefits from that individual. And the state also benefits. Good. Then another thing you have economies. Economies of cooperation. Economies of cooperation. Now, could you tell me what do we mean here? Cooperation. Cooperation. Okay. Now, if we talk of these words are different. If we talk of this one means together. Then operation means what? My learners, operation means what? Good. Operation, this is working. Working. So this one briefly means working together. Because there is that expansion, there is that advantage of working together. Because we had single farms, now they emerged. As they work together, they are able to carry out what we call, they are able to carry out research centers. Research centers. So they make research center. Then can talk of trade fairs. Trade fairs. Trade fairs, what happens at the trade fair? What happens? You always hear of Gikondo. They are different trade fairs. There is that exhibition. When firms expand, they are able to carry out, they are able to exhibit, they are able to show the world. Those who normally go there when their firms are exhibiting, the industry are exhibiting in Gikondo. You see, their different firms come together. So they are able to come together and advertise through trade fairs. But if it's a single firm and it is at SOA level, it cannot carry out a trade fair. But now they come together as a result of expansion, they are able to carry out trade fairs. Right, so you can look here, you can look on the slide. Due to expansion of an industry, there are more cooperations between firms which enable them to establish common services like research centers to make innovation, to make new things, organizations of trade fairs, and others. So this is economies of cooperation. The advantage we have got when the industry has expanded. The industry I talk of, a film industry, a mining industry, it may be construction industry, it may be fruits or juice industry, or people making what? Honey, as in an industry. Then another thing you have development of commercial facilities. Development of commercial facilities. So note here, note on the screen, when an industry expands, you are seeing here, when an industry expands, commercial facilities like banking, insurance, transport, and advertising are developed, which help smaller firms to survive in the long run. So development of commercial facilities, that is, we normally call them aids to trade, things which facilitate trade to move. We have given an example of banking. So when banks happen to know that now there is an industry in a certain area, they learn, they come and hire in that area. They ease banking facilities. So it's not an industry that calls them, that are Beka, Equity, Copedu, Uguka. So they don't call, but those banks do what? Come. That's what we call economies. That is an advantage because the industry has grown, so it's you, the banker, to come near us, the entrepreneurs, come near our industry. So there are banking facilities. Then Also insurance companies they also come running to that area. They come near that industry. Another thing, we have advertising. So firms are able to do what? To advertise. Why? Because they have expanded access banking facilities, access, or do you have the insurance? Then also add on transport. So that is what we call development of commercial facilities. There is that the development. Right, then another thing, development of social and economic infrastructure and economic infrastructure. Let me hope if I talk of infrastructure, you understand. Development of infrastructure, like roads. The government may build roads. Then communication. There is communication. What else? So if we talk of communication, here there is talk of radios, televisions, network, and others. So not on the slide, cannot on the slide. Here, the expansion of an industry results in the development of infrastructures like roads, communication facilities. It is which help to reduce average cost of production. So here, this is an advantage to reduce the average cost of production. So the costs do what? Reduce. Why? Because there is development of roads, communication. So in general, it is social and economic infrastructures. Social, like what? The learners tell me, social like what? Schools, hospitals. Then economical, like roads and communication. Still here, economies of specialization. I think to note, economies of specialization. So look here, learners. There is what we call specialization. You can tell what is specialization. Right. So it's a situation where you find that entrepreneurs do one business, or somebody does one task and he leaves the rest. For instance, if a firm is assembling cars, it does only one work. That is specialization. The firm decides to do one task. So here there is economies of specialization. So how is it an advantage? It is an advantage because individual firms start specializing in decide to specialize in in that industry. Let's say they are a mining industry. They carry out that over and over again. At the end, they become specialized. When they are specialized, they are able to produce quantity and quality out of specialization. So that's the advantage of that industry. The industry doing one task or doing one business, people become experts. They do one thing over and over again. As I've told you, if it's mining industry, people do that for a longer time, right? Then another thing, we have economies of concentration. Due to concentration of an industry in a particular area, all member firms realize common economies. For instance, skilled labor will be available to all firms. Transport and communication network, insurance, banking companies are attracted to that area. So these are economies of concentration, doing one thing. Then the other thing, as we are concluding, economies of information. As an industry is in a better position to establish research centers and disseminate the research findings in form of new inventions to the member firm through scientific journals, thereby increasing production efficiency of individual firms and reduction in cost of production. So you can note economies of information. You get information as you establish a research center. Why? There is money out of expansion. Right. Then here, this is our homework. Explain the different economies of scale. Dear learners, let me hope we have achieved our objective. And take that assignment. I thank your participation. Let me say bye-bye. We meet in another lesson.